All right, we're back. And today we're going to do sourdough. It's actually like a 2.5 to 3 day process. So we'll go along that journey, but you're going to sit here and today you're going to learn how to make it in 30 minutes, probably 45. So to start, you'll see that this is an inactive starter and I just need to remove some of the discard, which discard is essentially just starter that's inactive that you throw away. So you're just going to discard what you don't need, which I only need 70 grams of starter. So use your scale. Now, one of the pieces of advice I would give to anybody who's starting this, write down the grams of your container. So before you do anything, like before you start using them, write down the grams and then you can like add and subtract the amount of grams that you have of starter. So this jar is 502 grams. So I need it to be 570 because of 70 grams of starter. So we're gonna go ahead, start there. And then I just throw away starter. That's my breakfast, yes. I have to eat breakfast. I'm actually eating a piece of sourdough, so how fitting. Thank you, producer. 81. Just gonna get rid of about 10 more grams. Whatever the next scoop is will probably just be the end of my discard because I am now covered in starter. So I have about 67 grams of starter, which it's not that big of a deal. Then usually I would use the same spoon. This one was very messy. So I'm not sticking this in the flour jar. Now, oh, this is a lot of hair. I feed my starter. So like I said, it's 70 grams. Right now it's like 65 because I discarded too much, but that's okay. I usually go in the range of 60 to 75. So 70 grams of starter. Then we're going to go in with 140 grams of flour. A lot of times I will cut this recipe in half and do 35 grams of starter, 70 grams of flour, and 60 grams of water. And that's a ratio I actually prefer just because it doesn't waste as much. So just a note, you can kind of figure out what works for you if you're keeping the ratio the same, I feel like. 140. So I always put the flour in first because I'm a little not careful. Like I'll just dump stuff in there and once the water's in there, it's harder. And I always go with the water second because you do have to be more intentional when pouring it. So now I need 120 grams of water. See, wasn't very intentional. It's 127. That's okay. Again, doesn't really matter. Now this is what I'll use to, please ignore. I clearly use it for sourdough all the time and don't cleanly wash it every time, but I just did this the other day. I don't know what this is called, but it's what I mix my sourdough with. I used to do it with a spoon before I really got into it and decided I was going to like continue to do this. I didn't buy all of the stuff because it seemed like a lot. But once I bought this, I love this thing. Again, don't know what it's called. Spatula. Sure, a sourdough spatula, but I do think it has a name. People use this for things other than sourdough. So you're going to see everything's not mixed very well. You take this in. What's nice is it just gets all of the bottom of the jar and you just mix it. What you're looking for here is something similar to a pancake consistency. Now, I will say mine is not always that way. It's usually a little bit thicker, and pancake batter is what I meant to say, not pancake. That would be weird. And then you're going to want to check the bottom. Flour likes to get stuck down there. So make sure you're scraping all of the edges. And you'll see nothing runs. It stays very thick. So you'll notice nothing stuck. It's pretty thick now. To finish off, I'll just scrape the sides just so that it's a little bit cleaner and I can see into the jar a little bit better. Also, if you don't like getting dirty, I really don't know if sourdough is the journey for you. there is sourdough like under my nails, on my skin, on my cuticles all the time. So once you do that, your starter is fed, and then you'll see I have a rubber band here. You're just gonna take it to where the starter is at. So this is something that once you do it for long enough, like I don't actually think I always leave it on there, but I don't know if I actually need a rubber band on here just because I know what my starter looks like when it's ready to go. I can see how much it grows because this ratio does more than double. It usually about triples and goes close to the top. So just a note, I believe they say you want to start making a loaf when it doubles, but I also believe the thing is when it peaks. So when your starter peaks is when you're going to make the dough from it. And my starter usually gets up to here, which is about tripling. And from there, it's about 6 to 8 hours. Again, I don't always do it as I'm supposed to. I've made it when the sourdough started like becoming inactive again and the bread's still good. So I'm not the rule follower of sourdough. I am here to do it practically and just have like really good bread in my home. So now from here, you have your starter fed rubber band on. I lightly place one of these on top. Then you take a little piece of, this is a cloth thing. I got it to be the only thing that goes over, but honestly, I found that too much air got into it. And I felt like my starter was getting slightly, I don't know if dry is the right term, but just the top, I could tell it was getting too much air. Again, don't know how to explain that other than just like that's what my gut told me. So I started putting this on top and then this over top of it because you don't want it tight. You want air to be able to get in, but you don't want it to, I don't know. Some people do it that way. To each their own. I just like it better with the little cap on top of it. So that's all for now. Again, it'll probably be like 6 to 8 hours and then I'll be back and I will make a loaf. There we go. There's the words I'm looking for. So I will see you then. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye. 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 Okay. Good morning again. Yesterday, I fed my starter and then two things happened. One, I was cranky by the time I went to do anything else and nobody wants to see me be cranky. And the second thing was I got my timing all wrong. I just put the loaf, it is so overproofed, but it's a vibe. It's still gonna be fine, but that's just like not a good example of what sourdough should be. So instead of sitting on the counter for 8 hours to bulk ferment, it was like 14, which is too much. Like it had grown, it touched, is like it was wrong. So I wanted to do this right, but I fed my starter last night again so that it is 35 grams starter, 70 grams of flour, 60 grams of water. And then we're just gonna make a loaf. I have my scale, my water, flour, starter, and a bowl that I just took the other loaf out of that I'm just gonna run it back with because there's no need to clean it. It's the same exact thing. Whatever. You get your starter. 90 grams of starter goes into the bowl. So that's what your base is for your dough. $87. That's gonna be, haha, good catch. Anybody see that? It's 95 grams. That'll do. That'll do. Water. I have one floating ice cube in here, mostly because it was an accident, but second off because it's really, really warm here in Florida. So I added one ice cube. I used to add more, but some people do warm water. I've never done warm. I've only done really room temperature water or with one ice cube in it. And then you do 330 grams of water. You don't let the ice cube get in. 25. Ah, so close. 334. Again, it'll do. Now I just need my dough whisk. This is something, a dough whisk is not mandatory. I got my dough whisk for Christmas. And I actually got 2 dough whisks for Christmas. And John is looking at me. This is the one John got me. So I got one from John and one from my friend Olivia. And I go back and forth between the two because I really like them both. They're different too, which is fun. So they have different shapes and everything. I'm going to use this one today because I love it so much and because John is staring at me. And if I don't use it, I'm worried for my life. I don't know if people get my sense of humor. That was a joke. Then you just whisk it together. Again, I mean, I think probably for what, hon? The first 6 months that I did this, maybe even more. No, about 6 months. I didn't have a dough whisk. I just did it with a fork. And to be honest, when I first got a dough whisk, I was like, wait, I kind of like doing it with a fork. But I have grown to prefer the bread dough because after probably about 3 months after getting a dough, am I calling it a dough hook? About 3 months after getting a dough whisk, I tried it with a fork again, and it is a lot easier with the dough whisk. So again, you're going to get it to a consistency where the starter is pretty much just dissolved into the water. You'll still have a little bit, and that's okay, but this is the consistency you want. Please ignore the dough on the sides. That's from last night, the old loaf. So you'll see it when there's not much coming up with it. It's kind of dissolved. Now you need to add I need a cup of coffee, so I'm going to pour myself a cup of coffee.
Oh, I got it.
John's going to pour me a cup of coffee. Okay, perfect. Now is the time that I will do flour. For flour, it's 520 grams, so 520. And I have no idea how many cups. I just use these so that I'm getting as much flour in, but I'm sure there's somebody out there who has it in cups. How inexpensive a food scale is. To be honest with you, I think you bought this, so I don't actually know. $25. So, and I will say it has been a shockingly positive addition to our kitchen. Like we use it for a lot. Like you'll see in every video I do, I use it at some point because it's so much nicer than constantly having to use cups. Okay, let me reattach you. Yep. That's going to be way too hot. And then salt. Salt is, I think everybody knows this, but salt's unbelievably important. For the longest time, I don't think I knew that. And I accidentally made a loaf of bread without salt once, and it just wasn't even, it was just bad. There was no other way to put it. We ate it, but I'm very grateful I didn't accidentally give it to somebody. 13 grams of salt. So typically it's 12. I go anywhere between 12 and 15. And then you go back with your dough whisk and just start to mesh everything together. Now this part of it, I don't know if I, again, do it the same as most people, but I leave mine shaggy from here. So I don't get it. I get all of the ingredients mixed together, but I don't get it to form like what you would assume the dough to look like here yet. That I do with stretch and folds. So I made muffins last night. They're these oat muffins with blueberries. They were insanely good. So if you're looking for a good blueberry muffin recipe, I would check out Rock Your Body's. I believe they were called double blueberry oat muffins, and they're just on her website. So I'm obsessed. They were so good. I don't think I even did the crumble part right because it didn't look right. But does it really matter if it still tastes good? And I added cinnamon to them. That was a note to add. I added cinnamon to them. There she goes. What time is it? Oh, I have 45 minutes. Okay, I'm good. I have to go to work. I teach, what do I do? John asked me what I do. I manage and teach at a Pure Barre fitness studio. So just like bar fitness. And that's what I do. And today I'm teaching. So I have that happening. Not good. I just want to get all of the flour from the bottom mixed in. Then I'll show you. Once I get this mixed in, I'm done. And then I'll wait 15 minutes, do a set of stretch and fold. Wait 15 more minutes, do a set of stretch and folds. And then at 2 hours, I do stretch and folds, which, to be honest with you, with the timeline we're on today, won't be at 2 hours. It'll probably be at like 3 hours. That doesn't bother me as much. The other loaf like actually may not turn out good because it was so over approved. This is just like a slight delay. I do my stretch and folds not on time all the time. But as for letting it proof, I kind of try to follow at least a general, like 14 hours is probably the longest I've left a loaf on our counter. But I was tired. And I didn't think through that if you did it at 6 o'clock, you'd have to wake up at 4 a.m. for it. And that's not happening. So this is the dough. You can see it. It's just kind of shaggy. It's not all the way mixed. And now I will cover it with a wet towel. So I'll actually just take the towel I used yesterday, re-wet it, and re-put it on top. It just needs to be damp. Why does it need to be damp? No clue. No clue. Never read anything about it. I just was told the first time I did sourdough it needed to be damp, and here we are a year later. Sometimes it's just like, why ask questions? I think that's the antithesis of what you're supposed to do in life. But it's like, really, like somebody told me to do it this way and I just do it this way. I don't follow all the rules, but this one's not that inconvenient. Then let it sit 15 minutes. I'll be back and I will stretch and fold it. So see you then. Oh, also, which one looks really good? This one looks good. These are my blueberry muffins. My blueberry muffins from last night. You can see the little oat crumble. I think it was supposed to be a little bit more fun than that, but it was really good. So see you soon. All right, we're back. It's been 15 minutes. We're going to stretch and fold for the first time. I'm going to take that off and wet my hand. I'm actually going to wash my hands because I was just petting my dog. Also not a huge fan of our scent of our new hand soap. Oh, and then I'm just going to wet this hand. This is the one that's going in. So all you do, send your hand in and underneath. And then I just pull it up and stretch it a little bit. And then fold it over. Same thing goes over here. Pull it up, stretch it, pull it over. I am sure there's a more scientific way to do this, or, not more right. What word am I looking for? A better way to do this that they would say, but this works. You just pull it up, push it down. So just trying to get anything that didn't fully mix in. And then I believe this is what helps the gluten develop. Again, I'm not fully sure, but I do know that because it's only bread, salt, and flour, the way it ferments doesn't bother my stomach and doesn't affect my life as a mostly gluten-free person. So I touched on that in the caption about my sourdough. I am mostly gluten-free. Again, you saw me make pasta so far. And now my third episode is sourdough. So it doesn't really seem like I'm gluten-free, but I, unfortunately, against my will, am. Like long stories of like my hair falling out and acne that nobody wants to hear about. But this has really kind of reintroduced gluten into my life. And like now I avoid gluten-free bread, which I feel like, just try as they may, is just not as good. Although my sister did say she found a really good one. So potentially there. And if I find that one out, I will share it if anybody cares about it. But yeah, so I avoid gluten in 99% of the time. If I eat anything with gluten, it's usually from home. So I eat my sourdough on a regular basis. At first, when I started sourdough, I did recipes with sourdough. I don't do that anymore. I usually just stick to gluten-free recipes for baking, honestly, because I found a baking flour that is unbelievable, that's gluten-free and makes everything taste really good. I hate when I lose my train of thought, and it's becoming more and more evident. It happens a lot. So, oh well, I'll be back in 15 minutes. All right, next set of stretch and folds. I'm in the middle of getting ready for my day, so my hair is now up because I just brushed my teeth and now I need to wash my face. So excuse my presence. We're gonna just do it again. So wet this hand. Again, just sticking it in. That sounded funny. And pulling it up. Stretch it, shake it, fold it. Same thing here. You do like, I do it in fourths. So I do one side, then I turn the bowl a little bit, grab the next, and keep it going. So I usually do it 2 times through. So I do 8 stretch and folds, but I don't usually keep track. I'm keeping track right now, obviously, because I'm trying to walk through how I normally do it, but I don't, it's really not that typically that strategic. I just do it until I think it feels right. But I would say 8. If I was going to give a number, I'd say you take a fourth of it, fold it up, a fourth, and then you run it back with the same route. So I think this is my last one. See, now I've lost count, which is just proof in the pudding. I don't ever really know. So then again, hopefully that was 8. If not, it'll be fine. This is the loaf. Now this will sit on the counter all day. It is 8:39. I'd lie and say I'll be back at 10:40 to you all, but I'm not going to do that because I have to go work. I'll be back at like noon and I'll do a stretch and fold at the 2-hour mark. Or I'll have John do a stretch and fold while I'm at work. But again, time doesn't matter that much to me. It matters to most sourdough who do it the right way, but I just kind of, if you had to follow the exact structure, like I don't know how you get anything done with your day. So this is just what works. Anyway, I will be back in 2 hours to finish it up and I will see you then. Bye. Okay. We are going to do, I hope you can hear me. This is another set of stretch and folds. It is 12:21. I just got home from work. So I am going to quickly do just one more last set of stretch and folds. This is the 2-hour one, but it's been close to 4 hours, almost 4 hours. Not quite, like 3.5 hours. I'm gonna wash my hands really quick. Now I need to wet my hand. I hate when I do that. Okay. So final set of stretch and folds. This is what it looks after 3 hours. So you can kind of see it here. It's grown a little bit. Just go in, same thing as before. Pull it up, stretch it out, and set it down. And you just keep doing it. Again, I think I do it 8 times. Just trying to get all of the dough off of the bottom of the bowl so that everything gets all put together. And then from here, you'll notice when you do this stretch and fold, it's so much softer than the first 2 sets that you do because it's more combined and it's starting to bulk ferment. So this feels like 8, so I'm going to go with it. No clue if it is. The problem is I can't count and talk. So, fun little journey. I'm going to do one more for good measure. All right. And then I always try to make it into like a ball. That's it now. Cover it. And now I let it sit. Let's think about this. It's noon. It's 12:30. It's a lie. That's a lie. It's 12:23. I don't know why I did that. It's 12:23. Probably 6 hours. I'll check on it. And it's usually just about 6 to 8 hours. And we are home. So sometimes if we're out, we turn the air up and then it grows faster. And we're about to run to Costco. I think it's 72 in here. Just so you know, like those things do matter. The temperature of your home does matter when it comes to this. Now we sleep with it super cold in here. So if I do it overnight, I know that it needs just like an extra hour. But since we're home today, it'll probably be between 6 and 8 hours. So we'll check on it. All you're looking for it to do is double in size. So again, when I first started, I think, didn't I used to take pictures? So I used to take pictures of it when it was like at this phase so that I knew when it doubled. Now I just really eyeball it. Like my one this morning, because I let it bulk ferment for 14 hours, was so big it was touching the rag, which probably means it's overproofed. We'll find out. I'll cook that one later and see how it goes. So anyway, that's all for now. I will be back in probably about 6 hours and we'll go through the rest of the process together. All right, here it is. It's been 6 hours. You'll see that it almost fills the bowl completely, but not quite. And when you touch it, your finger doesn't stick and it bounces back. So then pull it from the sides a little bit. You see those strands, those are the gluten that's fermented. At least that's what I've been told. And then we'll get it all ready for you. All right, so we are back. And yes, this is the third outfit I'm wearing. And probably by the time you end this video, I'll be in a fourth outfit. Now what we do is, here is the dough. I've kind of prodded at it. You'll see that. But just seeing where it's at, it's almost all the way full. You'll see it starts to move when you hold it like this. But first I need to flour the counter. So 1 second. Why is there a little box around my face? It's following me. These are my jars from Costco. I actually can't tell if they're plastic or glass, and I think the only way to find out is to throw one at the floor, and that would just be wasteful, so we're not going to do that. But it's like, tell me what it is. I don't know. Maybe it says on the bottom. No, all it says on the bottom is it was made in China, so I feel like that tells me what I need to know. Oh, I just cleaned the counter, but there was a hair of mine on the counter, so we're gonna move that. And then you just take your hand and scoop it around. So, like this. Like the princess wave from Princess Diaries. Okay. Just take it in there and just pull it from the sides. Then once you've done that, flip it over. And I'll see it fall out. And I just kind of take my hand around, and anything that didn't come off, smack it right on. You can't see the loaf. Okay, so I'm going to pull it a little bit forward. I feel like you need to be a little bit closer to see this part of it. So, okay, you need to see this more than you need to see me. So my head's going to be cut off for a while. And I know that's disappointing to everybody here just for my face, but at the end of the day, it is a cooking show. So now what you do is you just stretch it out. Stretch it out. This is where you shape the dough. So it has done for bulk fermenting, doing what it needs to do so that it rose and did all of that fun stuff. And then from here, you'll see it's like this. Just fold it in, take it like that, and then you just roll it. And like tucking the sides in. So you have that. Then from there, you pull it towards you, slap it down. Pull it towards you, slap it down. You don't actually have to slap it. That's just kind of a fun addition. Pull it. And you do this a few times until you feel like you have a good ball. Well, this is actually really helpful to see it. So you want this to go under. Okay. And then from here, you just tuck it. Except for, I need to be looking at my dough, not the camera. Okay. You'll see some bubbles on here. You see that? It's a bubble, bubble. All good things. Now, some people, and sometimes I even do it, but sometimes I'll do this twice. I'll leave it sit for 20 minutes just on the counter, just like it is, and let it, and then I'll come back and redo this whole thing. It kind of just makes it like a tighter ball. But to be honest, I didn't notice it did much. Like you could feel the difference when you were touching the dough, but I didn't feel like it made enough of a difference to the actual loaf to add 20 more minutes and an extra thing to the process. So I just do this, and then I get my, I don't even remember what the basket's called. Banyan basket? Banneton? Banneton sounds right. That sounds right if I had to take a guess. And scoop it into there. So I'm going to do that really quickly. I'm like ducking down right now. So the other thing is, most people say to use rice flour for this. I used it once and didn't really love it. So I just use regular flour. I don't know why I didn't love it. It just wasn't for me. And honestly, like, it just added something else to the mix. When the flour's already out, it's right here. But they say like it can, I don't know. They say a lot of stuff about sourdough. I just know it's good bread. So then you put it in the basket. See it here? She is gonna go sit in the fridge, honestly, because I'm all done for today, overnight. So tomorrow, it'll be about 12 hours when I take this out of the fridge. It'll probably be like, I'll bake a loaf tomorrow morning. I'm hoping that this didn't affect the audio. But I used to only put it in the fridge for 1 hour and then bake it. You can absolutely do that. I still do it sometimes when when we're out of bread and I just want another loaf. So you can do that, but I have noticed that the longer you keep it in the fridge, not the longer, but if you keep it in at least like, I don't know, 4 to 6 hours. Again, this one will be in there for 12 and that's fine. I've done it before. They do say the max is 24 hours. So take that, do with that what you will. But this is going to go rest in the refrigerator and then it will be out tomorrow and I'll see you back here then. Bye. All right, so parchment paper. There it is. This is olive oil. Drizzle. Rings off. I'm going to take my hand. Do it how you please. I'm just going to use my hand. It's going to be a nice moisturizer for myself. This is so that it doesn't stick. When I first started doing it, the loaf, thank you, John, the loaf would stick to the paper and then I'd have to peel little pieces off. And then I figured out moisturizer. But then I figured out if you oil it, you don't have to do that. All right, so now it's time to score it. So this is what the loaf looks like. You can see that it's nice and cold. You can't see that it's nice and cold, but I can feel that it's nice and cold. So now what we need to do is score it. So I'm gonna flip this over. You can see it there, nice. Now I need to get all right, I'm serious now. Except for the fact that my hands I just almost slipped on the counter. I'm gonna at least rinse them. Now is the time for scoring. So what you are going to do is, no, it's just like you're gonna need to leave it on 0.1.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Try to be an artsy.
But this isn't about art. This is the most unaesthetic cooking show that there's currently is out right now. If you want aesthetic, go watch Meghan Markle. It's beautiful. She fucking sucks, but it's beautiful. Okay? She's got a beautiful fake kitchen. This is my kitchen, and we're not aesthetic. I am, however, going to impractically score this so that when I take a picture later, it's prettier than if I score it practically. Okay? So, it's gotta, yeah. Okay, right like that. Now, can you hold still for long enough to do this? Yeah. Okay. So, to score, this is my blade. It's gonna cut a circle around and then make lines. So, nice deep score. And then I usually go back through it to get it a little bit deeper. Okay, so that's the, now you just do little cute lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is a score. So now from here, it's as simple. The oven has preheated to 500 degrees with the Dutch oven in it. All right, vibe shift. We're over here now. I'm going to get the Dutch oven out of the oven. Again, it's preheated to 500 degrees. You get the Dutch oven out. Now, for the longest time, I didn't use a cast iron. So if you don't have one, it doesn't matter. I just used a pot that then I ruined, but that's a story for another time again. I take 5 ice cubes, put them in there. Then I take the loaf, put it in, cover it so that the heat stays in, back in the oven. Now it cooks. Oh my God, it's so hot. 25 minutes. After 25 minutes, I'll come back, take the lid off. It goes back in for 8 to 13 minutes, depends on what it looks like. All right, back again. And now I'm running late because I forget when you have to film, you have to set shit up. So it's been 26 minutes now. I'm going to take the lid off of the pot and then kind of give you a glance of what the loaf looks like. Now it's been 27 minutes. You can't see the loaf. I almost just burnt the crap out of my hand. All right, so now you see this. This will just go in for 8 more minutes. It's already browning at the top, which means it only needs about 8 more minutes. All right. Oh, she looks beautiful. Hold on. I don't think you guys just heard that because I'm wearing a microphone, but let me be very clear. If I wasn't wearing a microphone, my hip just popped 7 times. I'm 27 years old and my hip popped 7 times standing up. All right. There she is in all of her glory. Now, this is always a risky move. I don't suggest this at home. Don't try this at home. See, sometimes the paper rips and then I almost burned myself. Okay. Oh no. John, I need help. Not only that, I look so white. John, I need this stuff moved. It needs. Okay. All right. Call me Megan. There she is. Look at how tall she got over here. This is my beautiful love. And this too could be yours if you just follow the simple instructions that I leave for you. Just kidding. I don't leave very simple instructions. Okay, so now we will let this sit. It is still cooking, so let it sit, let it cook. It will probably be warmed for about at least 2 hours is when they typically say you can cut into it. Some say like 4 to 6 hours. There's been a very few amount of times we couldn't wait. Like we were just like, oh, we're cutting into it. It's been 45 minutes. But usually we wait an hour or 2 to cut into it. So I will see you back there. Okay. An hour and a half, we're going to cut into it and just like make 2 pieces of toast. Well, not even toast, just warm bread, which is, I don't know if there's anything better actually. So I should have aesthetically cut into the center of it, but I don't care enough at this point to ruin my loaf for you all. So the butter, it's actually insane. It just like melts on the bread. What?
You said like that was revolutionary.
No, but it is cool that warm.
Thank you.
You're welcome, hon. Cheers. So see, the melted butter. It's never not been good. That's the thing. Only the loaf that didn't have salt.
That was bad.
That was a bad one. Other than that.
Don't be afraid to add butter. Lord knows I'm not.
That's a lot of butter. If you have questions, like, I don't know if I have the answers, so you can ask me. I'll be so happy to help. But I also probably don't have the answers, so do with that whatever you will. It was a great time. I will see you next week for an easy dinner. I'm going to try to ignore it without being here.